Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So the market is continuing to show some really good signs. We saw a bunch of properties this week actually sell in a day or two on the market in multiple offers. So the momentum is definitely picking up. Another thing we saw this week that has kind of been gone since COVID started is the hold off of offers. So we saw a couple properties list that had a future date for offers. I think these are all really good signs for where the market is heading. So in Georgetown this week, we had 13 properties sell, which is a good number. We're continuing to see our double-digit sales. Of those 13, almost half of them were either over asking or full list price. So this tells you there's definitely demand in the market and no one is getting a deal on any of these properties. Of those 13, 3 of them were over $1 million. So again, that price point was struggling for a really long time. So refreshing to see some movement there. So in terms of new listings this week, we definitely had a lot of new listings. I think the memo got out that the market was picking up and people were throwing their houses on the market. So we had 27 new listings this week, which is like a pretty high weekly number. 2 of them were relists, so that means 25 properties newly entered the market. So it's going to be interesting to watch if our sales start to pick up as we see more properties become available. So in Acton this week, a good week considering what we were seeing the last few weeks. So this week we had 5 properties sell, 2 of them sold over asking. But the good news is that we only had 4 new listings and 2 of them were relists. So really just 2 new listings. We had a good couple weeks there where the Acton listings were outpacing the sales. So that wasn't great news for inventory, but we had a strong week in Acton this week. Nothing happening in Glen Williams or Limehouse. So in terms of rural, we had 3 properties sell, which is a good number for a rural, and 5 new properties enter the market. Okay, so in terms of active listings right now, we are up this week as suspected to 127 active listings. There are 73 active listings in Georgetown, which is definitely up. So the good news for the $1 million+ price point, which at one point in all of this was seeing like half of the inventory over that price point, is right now it is down to 29 listings. So not even close to half of the listings being in that higher price point. What's interesting is the majority of our listings are sitting between 700 and 900,000. Like we've talked about the previous weeks, I'm closely watching this price point and it continues to surprise me how this inventory isn't getting like scooped up. Another thing we have right now is a couple properties under 700,000, which has been sort of rare the last few months. There are quite a few that are sold conditional under 700. I know personally a bunch of them got multiple offers. And so we're gonna likely see those update next week with strong sale prices, and the inventory under 700 will probably drop a little bit. So in Acton this week, because of our sales outpacing our listings, our inventory is down to 16 active listings. I find in Acton, there's always like a wide range of price points available. So I do think it's an attractive spot for people to look at if something sort of isn't, coming on the market that they want in Georgetown. In Glen Williams, we remain at 12 active listings. In Limehouse, we have 3. And rural inventory is remaining pretty steady around 23 active listings. Again, the far majority being over $1 million. So we're not seeing those fly off the shelf. 3 sales there this week is definitely a good amount for the rural market. So overall, I think this week was pretty good. We did see inventory climb a little bit, but I think the demand is gonna catch up to that. And I feel like more and more people are entering the market. I do think we're gonna start seeing the sales pick up even more. There are quite a few properties right now in the sold conditional status. So it will be interesting to watch. So the main numbers that I gave last week, they ended up being pretty close to what the finalized numbers came out to. Our units were definitely down. They were up from April, but down year over year. The really, really interesting thing is prices were up about 12%, which is kind of crazy when you think about the condition of the market. No one's getting steals on houses right now, and we are just seeing a really strong market despite the lack of units being sold. So I think this week we are going to continue to see sales be really strong. We saw some strong sales in Georgetown and Acton this week, bidding wars, hold off of offers. So I think next week is going to be an interesting week on what the results are, because I feel like last week was sort of a tipping point to getting back into a really hot market. So I'm really looking forward to reporting next week's results. I will see you guys next Tuesday.